Okay, we'll start the pre-meeting for Monday, July 24th. I'd like to welcome our 3 new members. Carly.
Yeah.
Weary is our new permanent member. Andrew Castine, new alternate to the board, and Sarah Stanford, another new alternate to the board. So welcome. Just for summary, I don't know, talked about this, but this is pre-meeting. So right before our regularly scheduled meeting, for review the board to review applications, as well as for staff to make presentation of information for discussion and anticipation. Typically, it's again for the board. It's not a presentation by any applicants or time for questions from applicants. It's really the board's time to evaluate what's on the agenda. So with that said, staff usually gives a presentation. We do have one item on the agenda.
Do we want to allow to introduce themselves?
Oh, sure.
I don't think they've all met everybody, including staff. If you don't mind me doing a little introduction.
Cool. I'm Tom Kaiser. I'm late to everything. I'm so sorry. I was like trying to get there right in there. So I'm Tom Kaiser. I'm an energy engineer for work, and been on the planning board for a little close to a year now, I think. Yeah. And from the Farm Task Force.
I've introduced myself, Leash Bartlett. So happy to have you all here again. And another tack on to this announcement is that for the first time, I don't know how long we currently have a full board. So I'm really excited about that.
I'm Barbara Brister, the senior clerk for community development and planning secretary.
Yeah.
I've spoken with all of you, actually, Margaret, planning assistant, assistant, and you guys. Jim's our chairman.
Thank you again. I think we've all met. So
We can type in. Yeah. So we have one item on our agenda this evening. It's for a minor subdivision. The proposed minor subdivision. This would be the sketch plan phase where the board would determine whether or not they agree that it should be a minor subdivision. Muso connective have lots and 6 through NA. And originally this had come through about a year ago. Is that correct, Shalice? Yeah. As they were proposing a minor subdivision of these same 2 lots, but they were joining them and re-subdividing them into 4 lots. This is coming back through as a sketch plan again because the previous sketch was supposed to come through for preliminary within 6 months of the determination of a minor subdivision, and as well they changed the configuration, switching it from 4 lots to 3 lots. Other than that, it's a lot of the information is the same, and the staff comments are very similar to the staff comments from the first time around when we came for 4 lot subdivision. The biggest part, the details that we probably want to have you focus the most on are the easement and the utility lines. Staff did not find an issue with the lot sizes. There are back house footprints shown detailed on the sketch plan, and those are just for demonstration purposes only, not to encourage us to buy meters. And that's my general overview, but I think it would be worthwhile, Shalice, if you don't mind to hop into, the slide where the utility lines are shown. With the, all the different colors. Yes. I think, the full screen on that too. I think if you just hit slide show, it should come up. Thank you. Yeah. Still learning. So for a 3-lot subdivision, overlaying an existing subdivision, there's actually quite a bit going on here. And this is right at the boundary of the town boundary and city boundary south of the base. South of the US water on this historic base property. So we've got a city storm sewer line running through the western portion of the lots. We've got a town force main that comes into play. Proposed water lines that are proposed to the front of the lot lines on Connecticut Road. And also the sanitary lines, which are running at the back of the property, proposed property boundaries. And then the city sanitary sewer line.
Force main, the DPW refers to in their comment, but on this is okay, that's the red
Correct.
sign. Okay. And that's still an open item that
Correct.
they're wanting the applicant to locate that.
Yeah, in coordination with the town.
Okay. And the town at this point is still, we have not heard a response from them. Yeah, it's not heard a response. So then I think
We don't have any new information from for the applicant. Mailing information. Also the city sanitary sewer line, where it's called out with the manhole belonging to the town, where the city sanitary sewer links up to the manhole, that the location of that connection is also not confirmed.
The location of the manhole.
No, it's the city sanitary sewer line is depicted as connecting directly to the manhole,
Okay,
but we expect that it actually connects into the town line at an earlier location, and that location needs to be identified.
okay.
so. I didn't see on the plans or discussion about any kind of erosion settlement control for these lots.
Correct.
Okay, so that's another potential comment, and we do have a city storm sewer running through it, so there's some level of protection. Including during construction. And then the only other comment I maybe highlighted some. In the notes, they refer to the Air Force and environmental compliance. Do we have copies of those documents, the actual remedial action completion report and the EDC's acknowledgement?
No,
But that those,
not unless they're in part of sort files. We don't have them with the application.
okay. I'd like to have that just for our files, as well, just to document that note.
So the neon green and the neon blue lines, so they're what they plan to do or what they would want to do.
Those are proposed.
Okay, and then the darker, the red, blue, and green are what they think is there or what they know is there.
That's their depiction of what is existing. But there are questions with the red, which is the town force main. That has not been fully located. Okay. And then the forest green, I guess. City sanitary sewer, that the link up to the town and to be confirmed as well. There's also, DPW also called out and, a concern that the proposed sanitary lines run within the city's stormwater easement. So if any work needed to be done along the stormwater lines, they would potentially have to dig up for the sanitary sewer at the time. It's just, it's not the most ideal circumstance. And people have used.
And they explained why they're doing that, is it just following the grade of the site?
They have not. Originally, I believe this, the proposed sanitary lines also ran at the front lines. Along the front of the line as well. And so the previous request was to have those relocated and come in at the back entrance, also to ensure that all of the proposed lines hooked up to city services
Okay.
versus.
Town services, okay, that sounds familiar, yeah, 'cause I remember there being a lot of discussion about where the sanitary and sewer lines are gonna go, because of where that manhole cover was and where all these ones were.
It's a little over a year ago. Because I think there's some mission, but I don't think there's.
But they were, when they had previously submitted, they were looking at 4 lots originally, right? Okay.
It's just, well, what's the bottom one?
I think so, I think that.
That's five. It's an existing lot of the original subdivision.
This is part of a greater subdivision.
Yeah.
What's usually the full front?
West Shore,
West Shore, there's none.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I think, one more time.
West Shore, I think that's what they got rid of, that's what they changed, they had 4 and then they are only doing 3.
Okay,
It does not occur now.
so,
I think that's correct. They probably just haven't updated
We included the staff, report
from prior.
from the prior review in the package.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
because this
got it.
is.
Down at the bottom.
Oh, there's the date. Thanks.
Has the city clarified and established their sidewalk standards? Because I see that it's noted there's a sidewalk here, but I don't believe there's any detail
That's our work.
on what that, so that would be another item we want to make sure. Especially for this area where the city just got it done, well, a few years ago, got done replacing all the sidewalk.
These are, I believe there was a note in there, and I apologize if I don't see it. Okay, but I believe there was a note in your narrative that this was town right of way, so it would be village council.
Okay,
Yeah, that sounds right.
so we should make sure and have that as a copy to our file. And probably a copy from the town if they're going to
Sign on.
accept this sidewalk.
Yeah.
Within this application, if the planning board approves the sketch plan, it goes to the next step of public hearing and review and approval of the final plat. Do we wait on the scheduling of the public hearing until an application is received and all these comments and conditions are addressed? Or do we want to pre-schedule the public hearing? I don't know, is there enough time now in between our application, when an application is submitted and the meeting to actually schedule the public hearing? There's enough time.
If they were, are you saying if they submit something to come back next month for a public hearing?
Correct, if they submitted like on the last day, you know, that it's due, is there enough time to actually schedule the public hearing?
When's the drop dead date where they would have to have everything in back to us and reviewed?
We usually give the 1 week extension. I think this Friday is the deadline, so that would be next Friday before would be our typical extension deadline. The date we would absolutely need everything by would be the 7th of August. That would be our last date to know whether or not we can publish or publish.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board or staff?
I mean, I'm not understanding why AES would provide a plan with uncertain locations of things. Like,
With you're talking about the utility. line?
yeah,
I think that it's. I commonly accepted potentially, but these are the locations and maybe they haven't ever fully come into question with the exception of the last time we drew. So, and perhaps they just didn't have the time available to.
so I mean, it would require their client hiring surveyor again, or someone to like actually like radar the ground, like, I mean,
Well,
how do they verify that?
they would confer with the town maps and the town knowledge base, their public water and sanitation. And then they may have to have somebody go out and still the lines.
I'm just surprised that the special engineering firm would like issue something that hasn't conferred with town maps.
So, the one thing I will.
Maybe have better insight.
The one thing I will say is that we've done an ordinance, you know, this is a multi-tiered process.
Uh-huh.
In this case, it's considered a sketch plan.
So it's a,
Because of that.
yeah,
Sketch gives us the opportunity to give the general review of. I mean, even a site sketch or a subdivision sketch might be just on an aerial photography with.
Yeah.
And this is like that. And we give them all their comments, so they have the ability to go in. No, not necessarily sure about location utilities. You know, sometimes a utility like that might apply in other maps. And, you know, people take it in the field and that'd be good enough for us. In this case, though, it's so busy that
because it's so dense, you need more clarity.
we're gonna, yeah,
Got it.
DPW is actually saying, hey. That's not quite exactly where it is, we can't rely on that, and it may stop. So,
Yeah,
And they don't wanna invest the resources in finding it unless they know we're like kind of on board with it.
Right, or certainly at the sketch plan stage, yeah, so this is still sketch and not final, I can see why, but the money out for it, yeah.
but then if they're told, well, we need a little granularity there, then okay, they'll come back.
I will say the only odd thing about this is just sort of restarting the process. These are comments that were all out there in 2022.
Right.
Yeah. The first, even.
So
for
to reduce
staff,
the density a little bit, it's still clearly not enough to like warrant
They still don't have,
dismissing the concerns that were raised.
still don't have comments from the town, still don't know where the force main is,
Mhm.
they don't. We have sidewalk on there, but still don't have big, it's
Yeah,
very similar to Route 84.
and then the 4 lot subdivision did come back through. It would be possible.
Okay. Well, there's no other questions or comments. We do have a few more minutes where maybe we can discuss other business.
Yeah, so. I don't know what I've been doing with some of these, like, usually, what have we been doing until our neighbor? We were supposed to have a scheduled PAC meeting, for the zoning update tomorrow night, that's been postponed, actually canceled. Unfortunately, but the consultants have done quite a bit of work towards, putting together the diagnostic report. Held about a half a dozen stakeholder meetings already. We were working towards, the first public workshop target date of August 16th, and then actually moved that back to August 29th. So we're getting ready to publicly announce that, but it has been internally confirmed that we're going to work towards an August 29th meeting. Hopefully we'll still be able to make that happen with this meeting being canceled. But all in all, we've been getting a lot of good input and feedback and digesting a lot of information. So still excited about the effort, optimistic for the effort, and it's supposed to take the content one step, put it into action. Talking about the comp plan, we received hopefully final edits from Saratoga Associates. I went through those last week and want to give it one more look to make sure all eyes are dotted to the top and as impactful as possible in introduction. And hoping that we can move that forward towards adoption in August. I'm really excited for that. Do you know any about our updates? That's probably still in DOS review.
It's still undergoing, DOS review right now. We do have a draft final report, it's just being reviewed by DOS, we're hoping to have included in the next one, maybe 2 to 3 months.
And same with the LW word. That's still that actually was delayed getting into the DOS to be reviewed. So we're hoping that we'll have that back out by September, October. And then moving forward to the final readings and then of course adoption, hopefully for the spring.
You may note in the agenda historical placard at train station.
Yes, so from the last planning board meeting, there was a vote to move forward a request to have a request to send to the counselors to have a placard created and installed at the train station. And actually, we discovered that there is an existing placard there. It just wasn't showing up from the site photos that were including information. And do you recall with it? Why? Because we reached out to her and
He suspected that the site photos that were provided were Google Maps or Google Street photos that might have pre-existed in installation of the placard. But the placard is there, they took a recent picture and sent it the other day. It is there right next to the station, right in front of where that track would be.
so that mission has been accomplished. We didn't have to
So
use
speedy.
hardly anything.
Yeah, well, they should update their site plan to reference location. Should be conflict.
A few more minutes before the meeting, and we discussed on alternates. Who's gonna sit for the regular meeting?
Um. Volunteers.
Andrew's excited.
Okay.
We can sit next to
Trial
you.
by fire.
Charlie. And then you, and all. So these-
Should know one.
all-
This is very.
This is different, we usually. Calling the meeting to order a minute after. It's still discussing.
We preliminarily welcome our guests
We could do that.
and introduce the board. of us.
Sure.
I apologize because I have not met you face to face. Would you like to introduce yourself to the group?
Thank you very much. I'm Scott Allen. I work at ABS Northeast. I'm a land surveyor. And we come before your board, somewhat frequently, not as much in years of late, but, over the last 20 or 30 years, we've been here a lot of times with applicants and developers and so forth. So it's very reachable.
Thank you. I'm James Dell, chairperson of the planning board.
I mean, use her, member of the planning board.
Tom Cosgrove, planning board member.
Carly Leary, planning board member.
Andrew Castine, alternate, but I'm filling in today.
And my name is Alicia Bartlett, and been on emails with you. I'm the senior planner, for just about a year now.
And Barbara Briscoe, the planning board secretary.
Hi, Pat.
And I'm Sarah Stans, but I'm also an alternate.
Nice.
Nice to meet you.
First one of the board.
It is 6 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order for planning board in the city of Plattsburgh, Monday, July 24th, 2023. We can all rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Jim McDowell,
Yes.
Abby Musser, yes, Tom Cosgrove,
Yes.
Carly Leary,
Here.
Andrew Castine.
Thank you. I know we did introductions at the beginning of our, or the end of our work session, but I would like to welcome our new planning board members, Carly Leary, Andrew Castine, and Sarah Stanford to the board, and welcome. So moving into our regular agenda, we do have one item on the board or on the agenda. From planning board application 23-02.
So I take it away.
You can take it away.
So this is, 23-02 for the Newco Connecticut Ave lots M6 through M8 subdivision, proposed subdivision. For, sketch of the minor subdivision review. And, the project description is to request to perform a minor subdivision type on parcel ID numbers 233.8-3-18 and 233.8-3-19, merging the two lots and subdividing. Merging the two lots into one and then subdividing them, the remaining lot to create 3 new buildable residential lots at Connecticut Road. The location, again, is Connecticut Road. Zoned R2, the owner is Musso Properties. And applicant is Musso Properties. Thank you. And so, and the plan preparer is with us this evening, Scott Allen of AES. So this is an overview of where these two lots are with relation to the city and town boundaries, right on the edge. Connecticut Road aligns these properties on their southern border. This is a view from along the properties looking left. So it's all pretty undeveloped property that is looking north into the properties and the subdivision. And then west towards the town. And the way from the subdivision. This is an overview of the proposed subdivision of the 3 lots. And 6 is the southerly most lot, and 7 is in the middle. And 8 is to the north. There are proposed dwellings outlined on these lots. For reference purposes. At this point in time, so we just want to remind the board that as this moves forward, an approval of the subdivision, not an approval of the placement of these units, they have to come back through a separate process. Obtain approval for the building with the actual building locations. What we are looking at is the utility lines, the lot lines, potentially drainage, and other like other lot features. Again, it's showing the lots. Or just then applying the R2 setbacks that are currently in place that shows the slightly buildable area. The buildable area according to where the setback lines would be. And then I believe the next slide will show the buildable area when you take into account all of the existing. And then as we discussed in our pre-meeting, there's about 5 different utility lines. 2 are proposed at the fluorescent green for sanitary sewer to go to the individual lots. And then the bright blue is water going to the proposed lots. The darker green is the city sanitary sewer line, which is being depicted on the plat to show a direct connection to the town manhole, sewer manhole. And then the dark blue is the city's existing storm water line. Storm water, excuse me, storm sewer line. which, the property standing, proposed property sanitary lines run parallel to between lot and seven. And then we have in red, bright, dark red, the town of Forest Main. So, the location of the Forest Main is not fully confirmed at this point in time. We want to remind the board. There should be coordination with the town in identifying the location of that. The proposed sanitary sewer line and the storm sewer line are very near to one another. Actually, for all three lots. Which in the future, if they're built out like this, would pose an issue when digging up the storm sewer lines. And then for the city sewer line, the direct connection is not believed to be at the manhole and probably at a location a little bit earlier than the manhole. Which could cause a difference in elevations and pressure for the rest of the line. This is the zoning table for the R2 district. The proposed lots fall within the requirements. At this point in time, the R2 district is out. So the minimum lot size would be met at this point in time. The open space is met as well, and the setbacks can be achieved and still have substantial building on them. Should be good enough. Well, that should be 50. Yeah. Okay, so jumping into department referral comments, DPW states it is recommended that the planning board require that the applicant work with the town of Plattsburgh to accurately locate the town-owned sewer force main located on subject property. This property has a major sewer force main that runs through it, of which its location has not been verified. Physical location of this force main could drastically change the potential development of this lot. For example, if the existing force main were to be physically located any further to the west, there would be no possibility for lot and to be developed. It is recommended, comment number 2 from DPW, it is recommended that the planning board require the applicant to revise the subdivision to show that proposed sanitary sewer line outside of the existing storm sewer line easement. And then comments from MLD are that the applicant needs to provide MLD the load calculations for each of these houses. Additionally, NLD will need electrical and utility easements for some part of the development division map to the resident. Then environmental services department says if the project increases sewage flow from more than 2,500 gallons per day, then further sewer review is needed by the environmental services office. It doesn't appear to be the case for this, but it is. The police department had no concerns, fire and their response and building inspector and response. Staff comments. I can read through all of these, but Jean, would you like me to continue reading?
I think we reviewed them pretty thoroughly in the pre-meeting.
Yeah. And everybody's had a chance to read them already. Yeah.
Okay, if there's no further information, then we do have the applicant here. representative of the applicant.
Sure. Yeah, with regard to these utility locations, this tonight's meeting will be ball rolling. What we'll do is call it a big ticket, call it an call the 811 number and ask the utility owners, the town of Plattsburgh, the board's name, and the city, Department of Public Works, or the other utility lines out there, have them come out and do a marking under the 811 program. And then we'll make the adjustments as a result. We'll go out and map their flags and their paint marks and so forth, and make any adjustments as a result, and come back to you with a final plan. Yeah, these locations are taken from some old airbase drawings. And my knowledge, there's never been an actual utility marking under the UFPO, the Underground Facilities Protective Organization, where there's all contractors are required to call in that 811 number before they actually get it. So we're close enough at this point where we'll be hopefully digging these foundations. So I'll trigger the 811 call. And, see if we can get everybody out there and get these utilities marked accurately and make any modifications necessary to this night. And if you have any questions for me, be happy to provide answers.
Thank you. The open time, if there are questions or comments for the applicant.
Do you care to elaborate on the location, the proposed location for the property sanitary lines as being within the city's storm sewer easement?
Yeah, I see the comment here.
Yeah.
DPW, they'd like the private sanitary lines to be outside of the city's storm sewer easement. I believe we have a 20-foot wide storm sewer easement, 10 feet each side of that, the blue lines that you see here. So yeah, the green lines, the light green lines represent the private house sewers. So we can pull those back.
Scott, one moment. Surely.
Sorry, Scott, can you approach the mic?
Oh, sure.
Everybody watching the meeting.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, in answer to your question, we'll take these neon green lines and pull those toward Connecticut Avenue. Comply with the comment from the DPW about keeping our private sanitary lines outside of their storm sewer. Anyone else?
Does all of the, well, since we're on utilities,
Yeah.
does all of the sanitary sewer run to the north and to the north, basically?
This is running from outside of the city. Actually, the city line is right here. The northern, I don't know if you zoom out. I think I've got north pointing to
To the left.
the left.
Yeah.
The northerly boundary of Connecticut Avenue is actually the division line between the town and the city. So from Cliff Haven, all that area, that comes in a northerly direction, ties into this system, and then continues out and down here to the wastewater treatment plant in the city. So this is flowing northerly, so for sanitary.
Have you reviewed with DPW the idea of, although I guess it depends where that sanitary sewer is green, but connecting to the Connecticut road frontage sewer instead of going this back lot along? I mean, I get it that
Yeah, we did talk with the town of Plattsburgh about running across Connecticut and tying into the town lines, and they rejected that idea.
The town just didn't want to have the conflict because the houses are in the city and the lines are owned by the town.
Exactly.
But yet the town's sewer runs into the city's sewer.
Yeah, it does,
Coming from,
yeah. No.
Is that the same thing with the water services? I mean, that's an odd configuration as well, running all the way to the section of Kansas. You know,
Yeah, I don't believe that there is, any water out in Connecticut, so, in fact, when, I don't know if we can zoom out on this drawing at all, but, down, for the next street down, which is, I believe that's me, who's out there, thank you.
I was gonna say, in looking at your map, actually the water shutoffs just sort of stop at the corner of Kansas and there.
Yeah, they do,
There
yeah.
is no water main shown.
Right, they were stubbed out, last year. During some other construction. Yeah, Kansas, so the, show it. Great, yeah, keep going down. Yeah, yeah, the water, that water line layer, must have been frozen when this drawing was applied, but there's a water main that goes to here. And, there were 3 shut-offs put in with permission from the DPW, last year to serve, these 3 new lots that we're talking about. So those water shut-offs are existing at that location.
Are the laterals there too?
No,
Oh, just.
no, they, I can't remember specifically why this was, open at the time. But, the taps were made and the shut-offs put in.
Okay.
Okay, and then, again, that was done with the, approval of the Department of Public Works. With the idea that the 3 services would, map to our lots M6, M7, and M8.
Property is kind of a peninsula just past the infrastructure. It's like really kind of stretching the fingers to connect to them.
There's only one way you can go since you're on the town boundary.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is about the last, undeveloped portion of the former Air Force base.
Will, and the owners of lot M4 granted easements to go across their property or?
That's another thing that we're going to be providing. What, you've asked for the easement language for the, crossover easements on the sanitary and so forth. I'll make sure we provide the documentation on the, easement over the, over M4. As well.
On the, on your map, I know, or you noted that sidewalk along the frontage along Connecticut.
Yes.
I believe it's understood that that's gonna be a town sidewalk and it would be.
To the town.
Yeah,
Yeah, when we spoke, we had comments back from, the town of Plattsburgh. When we were here last year looking at this. That was back when we had actually 4 lots, in this area. Since then, we reduced it to 3, but back when we were before you last year. That was one of the requests that we thought for the town. About coordinating utilities and so forth, sidewalk, yes, it would be on town property and therefore presumably, a maintenance, item for the town plans, or
As part of your final plat, can you, coordinate whatever detail they want to see for the sidewalk into your subdivision plat, and then
and do we, Shalice, can you go up one more, and we have a sidewalk detail on this drawing? We showed crossing the driveway, but yes, I'll get a sidewalk detail.
and then we should also get something from the town, whether it's the highway superintendent
Yeah.
or someone that's there,
That documentation.
that they'll take that over,
Yeah. Yeah.
So in the pre-meeting, we discussed, your note. The environmental note in regards to the airports and the DEC.
Yes.
Staff isn't sure whether there's copies of those documents in our file. Is it possible for you to provide a copy of the 2012 remedial action completion report and the DEC acknowledgement from 2012 that agreed with the findings of that? And again, that's to be part of this file. This file here.
Yes. Go along with this one. To.
Then anybody else on the board have questions? Comments?
The only comment I have maybe is more of a question for Legion, but one of the staff notes was about. What if the one line is not where they expect it to be, and that would make lot MA undevelopable? Is that an action that would change at the next final review, or would that set essentially this property back to the sketch plans size again? Could potentially, right, if they reset those? Or would that go to maybe to the board for variance? I don't know, I guess. Here's
So
the
what-
process.
So minus staff's opinion on it, I believe that goes back to the board. Whether they consider a rehearing of the sketch plan, or they consider it a necessary field adjustment to the original sketch plan approval and allow the applicant to move forward with final
Yeah.
plat.
Yeah, we're pretty limited here with our frontage on M6. We're at about the minimum of a waiting of 6. M7, we're only 74.2 feet on that. Now, M8 up there does have 111 feet of frontage. But when we move that, if that force main is any place other than we've shown it, if it's further south, then what that'll do is also move the edge of the easement down. We're already pretty close to the building, the proposed dwelling. So the options that we could have are to, modify that proposed dwelling, reduce the footprint of the proposed dwelling. Yeah, maybe rotate it, but I think we could play with things like that. I mean, if this force main is, 50 feet south or down on the map here, it's 50 feet or so, then all bets are off with the lot. And they will be back with just a 2 lot subdivision.
So Scott, real quick on MA. Is there anything eliminating you from just extending the driveway and going to the back developable area?
There is. Basically, what it is the existing storm lines that you see here,
Yes.
okay, we talked with the DPW and they don't want additional fill put on top of those lines. You know, if they ever have to be replaced, you know, right now they're maybe 5 feet deep, but you can see the contours right here. Actually, we would have to extend that grade back to get to the back portion of M8. And we'd have too much fill with the storm sewer easement.
I guess I've not seen a close enough maybe detail on the plans, maybe an overlay. And maybe what's in here, we're just looking at it, because if this is a minor subdivision going from 2 lots to create 3, is there an off chance that force main causes it to stay as 2 lots?
Potentially, yeah, like I said, that force main is actually, you know, 50 feet
Right.
further to the west.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, that's, you know, we could come back with perhaps a 2 lot subdivision.
Sure.
Which, you know, in terms, whether you want to do another sketch plan review, that reduces the impacts. You know, like, it's up to you, of course, but I would say that it'd be even less impact if we reduce from 2 to, or from 3 to 2 lots. You know, we could, perhaps move right into the detailed plan phase. Even if we do have to go down to 2 lots.
Isn't it already? 2 lots that you're trying to
It's right.
combine and then split into 3?
Yeah, so you might have to split them out to get whatever is left of MA back into 2 other larger lots. So
Right.
you have to redraw all the lines.
Yeah, she had the tax map up earlier.
Yeah, I think the jack grows. Thinking of.
And you can see that, yeah, we could end up with something more like that if we can't fit 3 lots west of the forest main. But the applicants is trying to take advantage of that frontage. Sure, you know, get a 3rd lot.
Yeah.
Possible.
Staff have an opinion on that. If we were to be forced to go to 2 lots. Because of force main location,
Whether,
we return it cash or whether we.
I think, likely it would probably, we would recommend that it return to sketch. In my mind, I'd like to see how substantial the changes would be. And, you know, it would ultimately be up to the applicant and what they want forward for the proposal. It could change a lot of things, maybe completely withdraw.
Well, yeah, we could. We can go back to these 2 lots right here. Those are, you know, approved lots on the tax rolls, so we could. You know, we could just withdraw the entire application and stick with those 2 lots. In a worst case scenario.
Yeah, kind of in my mind, I was thinking that would be better.
The fallback.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. All right, thank you.
Anyone else? Anything else?
Any, I noticed that it was the storm sewer, in the Medina City storm sewer, there isn't any kind of erosion sediment control. Detail or provisions, that's something we can just coordinate with DPW.
Yeah.
Add in as necessary. Any further comments from the board or from staff? Scott, do you have any questions of us?
No, thank you for writing a quick package, and your comments, and we'll be back as soon as we can. And thank you all for the meetings. Have a good evening.
Thank you. So we do have a draft resolution for special approval with conditions.
We can do.
I'll stick around for your resolution.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we do have that.
Yeah, good, we'll get that out of the way.
Any conditions that we took note of?
Yeah.
That aren't on that?
Yes, so the erosion sediment control detail to be coordinated with DPW, that would be an addition. The Air Force and environmental compliance, additional notes, to be provided. And then, the sidewalk detail to be added. And, documentation from the town that they will take over maintenance and ownership of the sidewalk, responsibilities. Sidewalk.
Did you want to get into over?
That's a good catch.
The water. concern?
The easement over M4 was, I think, potentially implied, all the additional easements were implied. But, M4, given that it's not one of these lots, should be included.
Okay, anybody from the board have anything else to add? If not, do I have a motion to accept the draft schedule with changes?
I'll make a motion to accept the draft resolution with changes in the board.
Do I second? Second by. Thank you. Roll call.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Abby Nissenberg,
Yes.
Tom Coster,
Yes.
Carmen Mary, yes, Andrew Capson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Is there any other business that we did not discuss? Any ideas on the train station applications for?
That was my question too.
They are working on submitting updates to us. They did have informal comments back related to the nature of the review and want to ensure that when they come back through that it sticks with this work site. In their minds, they veer more the site. And the resolution, the request, the additional requests made by the board, they felt they were more towards this like plan elements.
Which request?
Existing parking,
Yeah. Was the architectural, the sort of architectural comment?
and then the view shed. I believe 88 are, they didn't specifically state exactly what, but that will be something that, should just.
But they respond. Check. Well, if there's no,
Yeah, and then it looks like we may have two reviews for next month.
Yes, we have two for next month. There's a potential of a third. We have until Friday to receive the application, so there's two possibly three. Two to three, possibly more, assuming eight, like that.
Right, and then are they all three potential for store?
Yes.
It could be a big one next month. Coming out of
Same
the
one.
whole time long.
What's the date of next month?
August 28th.
Study up with the storage stuff.
Okay, well, there's no other comments or discussion, do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion, do I have a second? All in favor?
I.
Aye.